80% of us here are wearing off-brand or not brand, because if it's not Baby the Stars Shine Brighter, Angelic Pretty, or Metamorphose, or Innocent World, then it's not a brand dress. So that's another interesting thing. Confused a lot of males when I try to explain it to them, but they're just very, very specific about what you buy and how good it is. Again, with our group, we started about 1.5 years ago now. We wanted to emphasize from the very start that we are not like that, and wear what you want, wear what makes you happy. And I think everyone, as a result, is a lot happier for that, not having to feel pressured or feel like they're letting someone down or irritating people or being afraid to post pictures of themselves because they think they're going to be judged by other people.
I also think we do have a slightly more relaxed feel on it as well, because brand doesn't have sizes to it. The skirt is made to fit this waist. If you do not have that waist size, you will not fit into it, which is one of the reasons you're going to find a lot of, especially us here wearing, in the States, wearing off-brand, because such as the one I'm wearing right now, I was able to pay $10 extra to have them make it so it actually fit my size. Unfortunately, a lot of American women, we are not built like Japanese ladies, and we aren't going to be able to put on a one-piece dress that is designed for
a Japanese
60-year-old figure.
Anybody who has a little bit more there, I guess, will love shearing. I mean, she has half shearing, this is full shearing, so that helps people, anybody who happens to be a little bit more busty.
And to further emphasize the point, there's a dress, I'm getting my first brand dress finally, yay. I am the absolute max measurements for the dress I'm going to be getting. I am the max measurements. I'm actually pushing the max measurements by 1 centimeter or 2, and I plan on working out to better fit it. So that is how specific they are, because I'm not big, you know, but according to Japan, I'm stretching the limit for those brands. So as a result, that's another thing that's great about replicas, because then they can get that print they want in the size they want in general, getting the dresses in the sizes you want through, like Laura said, those off brands, which I didn't touch on, so that was a really good point. Let's see.
I'm saying, like, I'm an extra large. I'm in 3 pants. Just supposed to prove.
Then otherwise, what we have next, basically, when you're wearing Lolita out and about, you may notice that most people do not dress this way, and other people notice that people don't dress this way. You will get a variety of responses. If you guys just want to say what you've heard ever when wearing Lolita, we can start with exotic dancer. What's your dancing?
Yeah, what's your dancing crew was our most popular thing with our last meetup. We had about 8 people walk up to us and ask what dance crew we were from and why we were there, what dance we were going to be performing. So.
In the museum, Jeanette was ready to start sending people to some other place because they kept on coming up and asking us for direction.
They thought we were part of like the exhibit. I remember that.
I've just had people ask me where I bought it.
Well, at school, what was it, like a couple days ago, I had 2 different kind of, I don't know, compliments. I don't know what the one person was. I had like 1,000 compliments, and then one of my friends was like, "Why are you dressed like that?" And I was just like, "Well, because it's fun. I like to." "But why are you dressed like that?" "Because I want to." And then my other friend had explained to him, "Well, you wore a maid dress once just for the heck of it. So why are you criticizing her for it?" And she's like, "Well, because it's stupid. I don't understand why she's doing it. I just don't understand."
This is
And no, this was Linda, Shelly's friend. And my friend had explained, "Well, you were 20 when you did this. She's 20 now. She can do what she wants." And that was pretty much the end of that conversation. And she just kind of pouted at me for the rest of the day.
The only negative criticism I got was my ceramic class. Then the semester, I came in, I didn't know it was cleaning day in my Lolita dress. And it was a bodyline piece. This one girl dropped her sponge, it walked over me, it ripped me shreds because it was bodyline. And she's like, "If you call yourself a Lolita," I'm like, "I just came to class."
Wow.
And my teacher's like, you can just leave if you want. I'm like, "Thank you."
I've encountered a lot of different responses in the community as a whole. Laura and I used to work together at a tea shop, and Laura has a much more extensive Lolita closet than I do, which lends itself to a slightly more sophisticated casual Lolita. So at work, there would be people who would specifically stop to sample the tea because she was dressed in a A-line or bell-shaped, skirt, and she had on her lacy shrug, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's so cute." And then, like I mentioned earlier, there is the small children who see you and they're just like, like this beam of light comes down from the heavens, and they follow you, and you're like, "Yes, my minions." But then you also run into the very like overzealous people who are like she was mentioning well, why are you wearing that to the mall? Why do you have this at the bookstore? And it's like, because it's what I wish to wear. It's like, it's no different than you wearing jeans and a t-shirt. This is just what I want to do today. And people seem to take it offensively, but it's no different than, I suppose, someone walking up to someone in a tube top and a miniskirt. Just, I feel a little bit more justified because I'm covered.
Right.
So I'm not really offending anyone by wearing frills, but
I think a lot of the comments mostly come from people that just do not understand. It's, like I said, it's very much a lost art. You don't see people dressed up like this. You only see them usually when it's a very special occasion, and they want to know. One place we do go is to watch Tea Room, which is obviously a tea room here in Milwaukee, and you get a lot of the older gentlemen and crowds and such like that, and they love seeing us all dressed up, and they'll come over, the little old ladies, and oh, that is so gorgeous, you guys are fabulous, we don't see this very often, and so you are just gorgeous. It's great.
So then going to like just out and about day-to-day life, the first time I ever wore Lolita out, I recall just being so happy, I was beaming, and as I'm walking through the mall, I started realizing as I was walking through the food court with my now ex, that there were people who were just sitting there like glaring at me as I was walking by. I can say there was no reason, I'd never met these people before, but there were just people that were sitting there glaring at me. So
I think a lot
It's
of it.
just that people aren't educated.
Right.
They just don't know.
They just don't. They don't stop and ask. They just it's like
assume.
awe to them. It's like,
Like, my uncle is near mine. I was trying to explain to him about it. He's like, "Oh, you're just here to do the old man fetish." I'm like, no, you're not listening to me. It all depends on the person also. If they're willing to listen to you and be educated about it,
Some
or they just
people
want to
are
judge you.
nice and come up and ask questions, and that's
Yeah,
always
that's-
very welcome, is if people just ask what it is.
Yeah.
But just being stared at is kind of, you
Like,
kind of
hi
get used to
there.
it after a while, because you do look different.
you don't want to
compared
answer
everyone
questions
else,
anymore.
but-
You're just like,
I was just saying, yeah, that for me, like I've stopped answering questions like maybe weeks ago.
Oh, really?
I don't answer anyone's questions anymore. I just let someone else do it. I'm so sick of it. But yeah, I can't blame them, mind you. I can't blame them. I'm just done with that. But
I like the little kids. Like in particular, there was this one little girl who was dressed up in a multicolored tutu, and her mom like kind of like pointed me out because that's kind of what she wanted to look like, and that was really awesome. And then like like you were saying, like people ask questions. I remember I went to Brady Street Festival in Lolita, and the guy was like, "What are you dressed up for? Are you like part of the show?" And I told him it's a Japanese fashion. He was like, started asking all these questions, and then he took a picture of me.
And that's something that I really love about the children that look and see that, because I love the idea of a little girl seeing, someone grown up dressed in this way that looks like that princess. And I know when I've been little, there's some people I've seen that stuck with me. I saw a chick with pink hair when I was a little kid, and it stuck. I wanted pink hair always, And so I would love to make that impression on a small girl to think I can look like that. I can be like that rather than just see it on TV. They can live it and be that themselves.
not to mention we're also kind of personifying more of that covered when all they see on TV nowadays is
Like
how
they
short
do
is your
that.
skirt and how low is your
Top.
top.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't touch on this, but I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this book called Lolita, but it doesn't have to do with the fashion.
Anything.
at all.
No, I get that problem all the time.
We
People
don't
are
try
telling
to
me,
entice older men. It might happen accidentally, but not in that creepy kind of way. And since you guys are already familiar with Lolita, I'm sure you've already come across that. which is good to know because we've gotten that every so often. Pretty rarely. I don't think too many people draw that connection, or maybe they
My
don't
uncle
talk to
did.
us as
Every
a
now
result.
and then.
Yeah, my family
I
did.
can say the term Lolita.
My mom did
That's what
first,
I'm
but I first
sure.
showed her and she explained it all. She's like, oh, actually, my mom actually loves steampunk Lolita. And she's like, you should totally need to get steampunk Lolita out. It'd be so cute.
Oh yeah, I wore this dress for Christmas, and my grandma was like, "Oh, you look so cute in your Lolita outfit and everything." My uncle's like, "What's Lolita?" And my grandpa was like, "Oh, it's about the book." Rah, rah, rah. And I was like, "No, no, Grandpa, be quiet."
And my uncle, he just won't listen to me about it. I try to explain. I said, no.
No,
You're just trying to seduce old men. I'm like, I give up. I'm not going to seduce you.
Okay, now what time are we looking at here? I still have the OG section to go over.
My cell phone's my first.
You got 20 minutes.
43 after, so about 20 minutes.
That's not so bad. I won't take 20 minutes. But okay, so to help appeal to the males here, I'm really glad. I had this elegant Gothic aristocrat out in Australia, it's imported, make this little report for me, a very basic briefer on the male side of fashion, because for the most part, it's very female dominated. Even when you look at the communities online, it's like a rare unicorn to see a male on there, and even rare to see a male that can actually dress proper. Because just like Lolita, I mean, in America, it's very much so where it's the woman who is putting on makeup, styling her hair, finding the right top, coordinating the right shoes with it, and making sure she looks perfect, and guy goes, hey, t-shirt. Picks up pants off the floor. This is good, you know? And it's very much that way. It is what it is. I wouldn't mind if guys tried a little harder, but that is what it is. And as a result, that stigma kind of sticks with the guy side of fashion. And a lot of guys who don't know the fashion very well figure, oh, I'm wearing a nice formal wear suit. That works. And it's like, yeah, it does. It's really nice. But generally, that says you're a tag-along boyfriend. To actually wear a look that passes as aristocratic, it has the same rules, the same do's and don'ts, has its own brands, has its own price tags, and it's even trickier for guys because just like in American fashion, the men's fashion is a much more niche market. There aren't so many guys out there that like to invest in their looks. It's that much harder to find fashions than in Lolita, in the Lolita sect that will appeal to guys. And basically, it has a multitude of different names. OG is the one I like, where you're wearing breeches, something up to the knee, knickerbockers, suspenders. There's Cadona, which goes all the way to the floor. That's a pants style. There's a distinction, but you don't really have to worry too much about the distinction. There's a boy style, which again goes to the knee, but has very much more so that very floofy, you know, you'll see them in anime or something, you know, cute boy style with the flipped hair and oversized top hat or something. Dandy kind of goes along that same way, a dapper young man. But basically, it's all for the same style. A lot of people tend to think of it as Victorian-centric, but this is from the perspective of the EGA that wrote this for me. And to him, he sees it more inspired by the clothing of the nobility of Georgian and Regency Britain, as well as Rococo France. He's very, very into it. His wardrobe is absolutely stunning. And like I touched on, he brought it up too, how it's considered to be very simple to pull off compared to Lolita, but even more so than Lolita, OG is based on very subtle nuances. You know, how is your jabot? Do you have, you know, the right buttons to go with this? Very subtle things that you may not necessarily see, but that's what makes the difference between an average outfit and a great outfit. It's not enough to slap on a shirt and a waistcoat and a pair of pants and call it a day because you'll look like an escaped waiter. That's not what the fashion is. And that's a big pitfall of it. You might, you know, end up looking like a waiter. You don't want to do that. The basic do's or don'ts that he has is tuck your shirt in. It isn't very attractive to have it hanging loose beneath your waistcoat. Choose your hats carefully. If you must wear one, make sure it suits the outfit and that any decoration is tasteful. Wear a necktie. Cravats, which are basically the ties that go around the neck. Jabots are the very frilly neckties that go around. And ribbon ties are ideal. Avoid business ties. Look for more alternative styles to complement your outfit. A good necktie will work to offset a boring shirt. If you end up wearing a more Americanized style, you can kind of hide that. I prefer jabots personally. Big and frilly, they're wonderful. Make sure everything fits properly. This guy says, never settle for a baggy jacket or sleeves that are too long for you. Always have it altered to fit you better. Because I know that is a big problem with business wear. It never quite fits right, and generally guys work with it. But if you want to have a proper style, you want to make sure that it fits you perfectly. Just like with Lolita, it's fitted, it works for you. You aren't working with something that's too baggy. You do something to make it fit you right. For his don'ts, don't carry props. Monocles and canes are just ridiculous affectations, as he put it. Don't try to fudge it. Suits and capris really aren't condonable. I like that too. Say no to bloomers. Also, don't settle for plainness. A casual approach to OG will only produce bland results. Then it goes specifically into the various parts of the outfit. Breeches. You want your breeches that end no further than just below your knees. Anything longer and they're not breeches anymore. Avoid wide-legged shorts. Fitted or puffy breeches are preferred. The puffy style definitely has that more elegant, aristocratic feel to it.